everyone, and welcome back to Tile Talks. This is, of course, Prisha, and you need to introduce yourself.
Well, they should already know it by now.
I'm hoping you guys already know who Rinav is because he's clearly stopped introducing himself. But Rinav, can you at least introduce the topic for today?
Okay, so the topic is role of AI on employment. The rise of automation and AI is transforming the workplace, impacting jobs, roles across various industries, including high-tech manufacturing. Thanks to the advanced technologies, many manual and repetitive tasks can now be automated, leading to increased efficiency and productivity.
But this change is also causing jobs to evolve, while some becoming obsolete while other new ones emerging. For example, manufacturing workers need to acquire new skills to operate and maintain machines, and robots are taking over manual tasks. Additionally, AI integration into high-tech manufacturing processes is creating new job roles like data analysis, AI programmers, and machine learning specialists.
I'm getting nostalgia from the first episode.
I know. This is something we promised our listeners we are going to cover in the very first episode itself.
Yes, we talked about this robot.
Exactly. And let's join all of it together. Rinav, I will ask you, what do you think AI actually is?
For me, AI is a search engine, basically, where you get your answers straight up. You don't have to research or anything.
So, Rinav, I can understand you are talking about a very specific kind of AI, which all of us love, by the way, known as GPTs. Yeah, GPTs. Yeah, Perplexity, Poe, all of these are forms of GPT AIs. So GPT AIs, very famous one being ChatGPT, the pioneer of all GPT AIs. What they basically can do is they can go on the internet, they can look at all different websites and all different resources, unless of course they have an AI blocker, and they can basically generate text based on what they have researched and what they have learned. So what they do is they make us so efficient. They, cut down research time. They cut down the things, we have to spend time on the internet, and they completely put all of it together in one platform for us.
Disclaimer, don't use for IAs.
Don't use, for all the IB students out there, please do not use AI for your IAs and go like Tar Talks as this though. But, I would mention this because,
That'll make life easier.
It does make life easier, obviously. But another thing which I have realized with AI is if you try to use, GPT AIs, especially free ones, like take Perplexity or Poe, for example, if you try to use any of these AIs for research, you will realize so many times that half of the information that they are writing down does not even come from reliable or actual sources.
True. Like if you go on the sites, the sources basically, and you click on the site, sometimes the source does not even load.
Exactly. How many times have we seen an error 404? So while obviously I agree, this makes your life easier. Being able to use GPT makes your life easier. If you want to use this for actual research, I am very, very against it.
She's not. Trust me, she's not. There was this one time you're having this debate, okay? It was maths invented or discovered?
Oh, TOK class.
Yes, TOK class.
Yeah.
So now, when maths was invented or discovered, it was her versus the biggest rival in the grade. Biggest rival, I mentioned it. Yes. And she straight up went to Perplexity and she got the information she wanted and she wrapped it in 5 minutes. I'm not even looking wrapped. No one understood a word except for.
So that's exactly the thing. I just had to win the debate, okay? That was the
you didn't.
By the way, this is completely out of my ethical and moral grounds. But a TOK class debate, sometimes it's TOK for a reason. It's barely about being correct. It's more about being loud or, being more assertive. And
but she still lost.
But I want you to know why I did lose the math debate. I have won numerous other debates in my TOK class. There is no denying.
Everyone goes.
No, art debate, exactly. The art debate about I'm good at art. Okay, all the podcasting and painting from COVID helps me on all of this. Okay, Rinav. Anyways, coming back to AI. Okay, I'm gonna be very honest. It's not okay. Rinav is right. It's not like I don't use AI for research purposes. But as someone who has spent time understanding the different implications AI does have, I do agree that many a times in not the resources used by AI are not very good. Like for example, we had an MUN very recently, and as chairs, both of us were chairs, Rinav, and we had a very clear rule, at least in my committee, that you are not allowed to use AI for research. But what is one suggestion I did give to those kids? Even if you are putting something into AI, even if you're putting your prompt or your agenda into AI, check the sources, use those sources you get from AI as a base. Do not stick to those or think that they are the ultimate truth. Use those as a base and build off those sources. Go deeper once you find those sources.
For me, it was really chill. I gave them, when they were rebutting or rebuttal round was there, they could use AI, but not for position paper or your resolution paper.
Your formal documents for Manning should never be made from AI.
Present them. Like if it's more than 20% of AI, you're debarred for the rest of the committee.
Oh, and he just called himself a chill chair, guys.
I'm a chill chair.
A Okay. Anyways, but okay, these are the different ways AI, affects us as students. But then again, the whole purpose of our podcast is to see what life will be like for us 20 years from now. So, Reena, if you had to come up with one way in which AI could impact us 20 years from now, what would it be?
I'll take my ambition. Architecture is going to be affected. I know it.
Exactly, because AI is developing so fast. It's getting so good at understanding algorithms, understanding data from around the world, understanding, different trends. And okay, take your Instagram feed, for example. Reenav, have you ever found yourself liking, 2, 3 reels of the exact same kind one day, and then for the next one whole month, your entire For You page is covered with just those?
Yeah.
That's your algorithm. That is AI coming right back at you through your Instagram feed. So,
What about you? Podcasting or paintings or
oh my God. Why do you think even my Instagram feed is covered with nerd stuff?
aren't you a nerd?
Being a nerd is not wrong. And this is for all the nerds out there. Be a nerd, it's fine. It gives you personality.
Sure.
But anyways, take Instagram, take YouTube, take for all the millennials or boomers out there, take Facebook out there. All of these platforms have an AI algorithm, inbuilt within themselves. And this AI algorithm, every single thing you like, every single thing you rewatch, every single thing you comment on or which you share, it tracks all of that to understand what are the different things you like. So imagine how much AI is impacting you right now.
So basically, a June 2023 McKinsey report stated that generative AI, Gen AI, would automate 60% to 70% of employee workloads.
And AI is already replacing jobs, responsibly nearly for 4,000 cuts made in May 2023 itself, according to data from Challenger Gray and Christmas Inc. OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT, estimated 80% of US workforce would have at least 10% of their jobs affected by artificial intelligence.
But there's also another angle, obviously. If AI is bad, there'll be an angle where you can see it. Obviously, like a coin, it has two sides.
Yeah.
So there has to be a good side.
And that is the point of every Tahar Talk story. We show you both sides.
I feel it's like a mobile phone. How you use it depends on you.
Exactly.
So if you use it correctly, obviously AI can help you.
So it's natural that workers will also have to learn how to collaborate with AI, but it will stunt their productivity. For example, a generative AI chatbot might create an overabundance of low quality content. Editors would then need to write additional content to flesh out the articles, pushing for search of unique sources of information lower on their list of priority.
I feel like AI is just not there yet to our standard for our experience. But after we give him more experience, it can actually replace our jobs.
Reena, let me ask you something. We know in a country like India, take India for example, take Bangladesh for example. What is a major job market? Like if you just had to list out big job markets, which one do you think is a major
Real
job?
estate, obviously.
No, I'm
Jewelry.
talking about middle class markets or even like lower middle class markets in countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal.
Okay, I have to think about this.
Let me tell you, call centers.
So,
Customer
yeah,
service centers.
yeah, okay.
So many. So have you ever considered how AI chatbots or virtual assistants can handle routine customer inquiries, reducing the need for human customer service representatives? And this is cheaper for a company to hire. This is faster for a company to hire. This is more efficient for a company to hire. What will happen to the millions in the Indian subcontinent within itself who are employed by such call center places, such customer service places?
There's also this one app that AI, if you feed, like now let's say Narendra Modi and some other famous person, and you tell the AI to create that image of him talking in a speech, you can actually get the audio out as it send it to your...
The way AI has been progressing is so fast and so scary to me. Let me ask you something. Have you ever read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Have you ever had...
Read Charlie and the Chocolate
Seen the
Factory?
movie.
Okay.
Same thing.
I don't know if this part is there in the movie, but Charlie's father lost his job because the toothpaste factory he worked at. So his job was basically to screw on caps on top of toothpaste bottles.
Yeah.
And he lost his job because the toothpaste company he worked at hired a robot to do it instead. And just imagine that is a robot that just simply screws it on. Now imagine automotive robots which can completely do a human's work. They can pick up a part from here to there, put this in, fix it in. Can you imagine how efficient they would be?
I remember one instance where Prisha actually got the oh gosh out of me in prep. So once in prep, Prisha was talking about how AI can do a knee replacement in less than 30 minutes.
Exactly. We were talking about robotic knee replacements. Like if it's traditional, if it's a surgeon sitting at the table, it takes so many hours. And if you have a robot surgeon there, and if you have a surgeon completely at a different end of the room, working from a small counter, just handling the robot, that is so much faster. And as someone, I'm sure I've mentioned this on podcast before, but as someone who wants to go into the medical field, it is so scary to me. What if I'm not able to keep up with such technology? What if I'm not able to get adapted to it?
I think you can.
I hope I can. And going back to one company, I remember mentioning in the very first episode itself. Do you remember Unitree?
No.
Okay, Unitree is a China-based company which has come up with
Did they invent the doggo?
yes.
Okay.
And they have so many robots and they have so many humanoid robots. Do you know what humanoid robots are?
I don't know, let me guess, like a human person who is working.
A humanoid robot is basically a robot which is meant to imitate how a human looks.
I actually gone to Dubai, and in the future of museum,
Yeah.
there's this robot.
Museum of Future.
Okay, works
Yeah.
quickly. What I was saying is there's this robot in center, and it can answer to all your questions. So, like, if you ask any other question you want to, it's basically like a Perplexity or ChatGPT 4, whichever works.
But
And
in an
so
actual
the-
human looking robot. Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to cover from Unitree, which I find to be so fascinating. So the Unitree G1 is a humanoid agent AI avatar, which if I've told you how much this costs, do you have any guesses? I remember telling you how much this costs.
60. I know the figure.
16K US dollars.
60.
This cost 16K US dollars, which I remember in a very, very rough calculation is 16 lakh INR. Reena, I remember asking you the same question on the very first intro episode. Do you think this is a lot of money?
At that time, I think I said no.
Well,
Or I think I said yes. I forgot.
okay, Reena, right now, do you think 16 lakhs INR is a lot of money?
Let's see, from whose perspective?
From just a basic employer's perspective.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot of money. It is the kind of money so many Indians don't even see in their entire lifetime. And now this robot is sold for 16 lakhs INR, supposedly in a very rough calculation. And just imagine buying a robot that costs 16 lakh instead of having to, pay your employee monthly, having to sponsor trips, having to sponsor excursions, having to, give financial support to the employee. And instead of all of that, just buying a 16 lakh robot that can do half of your work. These are the reasons why so many factory workers around the world, while so many automotive workers around the world are losing their jobs.
But isn't it a boon for the business? Like, imagine
Exactly.
paying various, like, let's say 10 lakh to each employee. Instead of that, just one robot of 16 lakh can do the work of all of them.
That does make a lot of sense. Like it really, to decide whether AI is a boon or a bane, we really have to see whose perspective we're talking from.
So AI's integration into two various industries has heralded a wave of transformative opportunities, of course, creating new avenues for job creation and enhancing productivity. Here are some of the impacts on artificial intelligence on employment.
So the first is automation of repetitive tasks. One of the foremost benefits of AI or AI impact on employment is its ability to automate mundane and repetitive tasks. By delegating such responsibilities to machines, human workers can redirect their efforts towards more creative and value-adding endeavors. Which means that Charlie's father in the chocolate factory does not have to spend all of his time screwing on toothpaste caps. What he can do instead is he can learn how to use and operate these machines.
I'd seen this one poster somewhere. It said that AI is the future, and then it showed this one person. He's obese, obviously, sitting on a laptop and is algorithming the AI. So it shows that humans are going to eventually lean into this computer system.
Exactly.
And just not care about personal fitness or anything.
There is, and moreover, there is going to be a time we move from being the ones doing all of these tasks to creating robots that will do these tasks for us instead. And soon we will have robots creating robots. It's going to be so wild.
Oh, Chitti the robot.
Chitty the robo. And enhanced decision making is so important when it comes to algorithmic AIs because AI powered analytics empower businesses to make data driven decisions swiftly and accurately. This not only optimizes operations but also necessitates skilled professionals to interpret insights and devise strategies based on them.
So there are more advantages, obviously. So job creation in AI development and maintenance, and improve customer experience. So if it improves customer experience, like chatbots, or as we talked about the customer service phone calls.
Exactly.
So you'll actually there won't be any tension between the customer or any other emotions affecting the customer, because if you see sometimes the call centers, if you don't reply properly or something might happen, the other person on the other end might get angry.
You need to call customer service for customer service. But basically, what I'm saying is that yes, working in a call center is not easy. You have angry customers calling you, telling you the exact same thing again and again. And humanly, it is not possible to deal with such calls. But AI can do this so perfectly. But then, Rinav, again, my question and my final statement on this comes down to one thing. Who are the people impacted by this?
Everyone.
But mostly, it is the middle class. It is those.
Not really.
Why? Okay, let me tell you how. It is because a substantial portion of middle class employment consists of roles that involve routine tasks such as administrative support, clerical work, and even some more professional jobs such as being an architect, for example. As AI systems become more capable of performing these tasks more efficiently than humans, many middle class workers find themselves completely out of work. And Rinav, this takes me back to something I remember saying in the very first episode too. When people are getting out of work, they will have to work longer to be able to earn a particular amount to be able to retire. And as they have to work longer, they will fill in job positions for longer than expected. If the generation above us starts filling in job positions for longer than expected, when we enter the job market, there will be no empty jobs left for us. So unless, us as a full population in itself is able to learn how to get equipped with AI, is able to learn how to, work alongside AI, facilitating AI to help us do our work instead of letting AI take over our work. That is what I believe is important.
Okay. And now it's for the audience to decide.
But now it is for the audience to decide. All we can do is give you an insight about AI. It is up to you to decide how you will apply that to your futures and your daily lives. And this was AI on Tower Talks. Thank you so much for joining us today.